Welcome to the Higher Ed Demand Gen podcast, helping higher education marketing leaders share knowledge about learning, strategies, and tactics that are relevant today. See what you can learn today by listening to one of our episodes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Higher Ed Demand Gen podcast, hosted by Concept 3D. If you like our content, please subscribe and follow us on whatever platform you're listening to us: Apple, Spotify, Google. And if you're on Spotify or if you're on Apple, please leave us a comment. Love to hear what you think about us. Today, I'm really excited. We're live at AMA Symposium in Chicago. It's day 2, and today I'm personally really excited to talk about the Coach Prime effect on university advancement, especially with CU Boulder. So before that, I have the perfect guest here today, Maria Kuntz, Director of Creative Communications and Services in Advancement at the University of Colorado, Boulder. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here and having this conversation.
That's great. I do love asking icebreakers, all my guests.
Great.
And today we're going to make it specific to AMA. So what is your favorite thing about this group in AMA?
Yeah, I mean, connecting with folks from all across the country doing this work is incredible. I mean, so many ideas, the energy, and really, I think just filled up. I'm filled up to look forward to going back to my team and bringing new ideas. And there's enough ideas to keep me busy for years. So it's exciting.
Yep. And I know we were just talking about this, but I'm here as a vendor, right, for a company and not with the university. But I went to the keynote last night with Marcus Collins, and I have so many. I have like 4 bullet points of ideas that I want to try out in the future as well. So it's been helpful for me as well. So I echo that.
Yeah, I think I actually heard this from, I'm pretty sure it's Carrie Phillips from University of Arkansas, that I read that she recommended when you go to conferences, like 2, 2, and 2. So it's like 2 things that are longer term and strategic, 2 things that are kind of like medium term, and 1 thing that you can implement sooner. Because I think you can leave this conference being really overwhelmed by how much you could do. And for me, it's ranging from like, okay, strategically, how can I approach how I'm leading my team, to strategically, how am I going to think about creative services and production, or, what's our messaging and the brand. So there's a lot. So we have the opportunity to select, like, okay, what are the things that I'm going to really focus on, so that way it's easier to take some action.
That's fantastic. Carrie Phillips, shout out. Yeah. She's been on the show as well.
There we go.
I saw her yesterday too. It was great meeting her in person. Speaking along the same lines, are there any sessions that really stood out to you, or any key takeaways that you'd like to share?
Man, I love the session that Texas State University did today. And it was, I think it's Texas State, their acronym is TXST, and they just TXST next. So they've like completely re-envisioned their brand, and they've completely re-envisioned it as a lifestyle brand with amazing acronyms. Like, they're doing limited run swag drops. They've like brought llamas to campus, completely unexpected. And they've like really went deep in diving into their secondary color palette. And I just am so impressed with, how they've transformed, where they were 3 years ago to how they look and feel today is super exciting. So that was really inspiring. And
Where were they 3 years ago? What?
I mean, I don't remember the exact numbers, but they said their enrollment's up. Their brand, like when they do their brand research and like recognition, certain marks are moving up in terms of them being a leader and a preferred school. And I think, Texas is growing really fast, and there are a lot of universities in that state. But I watched and I was like, I want to go there. Like, it has a very different feel. So I think they're really leading edge in what they're doing.
That's fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
I need to look at those slides.
Yeah, definitely. They're up. Look at them. Yeah.
That's great. Well, awesome. Let's get started a little bit with telling us about your role at CU Boulder.
Yeah, I'm the Director of Creative Communications and Services for Advancement at University of Colorado Boulder. Advancement means that we're overseeing all alumni and donor communications. And there's a lot of work that happens collaboratively with partners across campus as well. So, even working with student affairs and our commencement committee to really think about how are we transitioning existing students into being part of what we call the Forever Buff family, so that Forever Buff experience that they're connected for a lifetime. Yeah, I have a great team of creatives and writers and donor communication strategists, and we have a lot of fun.
How big is your team, by the way?
I have 6 people on my team.
Okay.
I'm part of a larger 15-person team. We have a
Okay.
couple. So my team is me plus 6 others. Then we have a couple of students, 2 to 3 right now, and we're going to add a student video team too.
That's
so
awesome.
we're growing a little bit. Yeah.
That's great. What is your relationship like with central marketing team?
Oh, it's fantastic. I know you spoke to Jennifer
Yeah.
earlier, and I mean, we work together really well. So collaboration is a key university value, and I think it's a personal value of mine. Relationship, building. In my mind, like having that strong relationship makes the work possible. Like it's also very strategic to invest in those partnerships. And everyone has different push and pull factors and different things that their bosses are trying to accomplish. And so when we know each other, know where we're coming from, that work is it's easier, it's smoother, it's more fun, we have better outcomes.
That's great to hear, because I know the typical answer is like, I want to be working with them more, but we don't. We're
oh my gosh.
off.
No, we're it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible the systems we have and the ways we lean into each other. So I couldn't ask for a better connectivity there.
Gotcha. That's great. Thanks for sharing that,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to ask this question and get into this topic, selfishly, because CU Boulder, University of Colorado Boulder, is my alma mater. So
go Buffs!
Go
Yes.
Buffs! I was just at the game on this past Saturday, quite frankly, because I talked to you and Jennifer, and it got me so excited about the campus and the energy, and so I went to the game, and it was awesome. Unfortunately, we did lose. But
that is the prime effect.
Right.
Like, that's it. You had a conversation. You're excited. You want to be part of the magic and the possibility. And so I don't know what you were planning previously, but you changed your plans and you made plans and you were there.
I was just coming here.
Yeah, you and like hundreds of thousands of other people have been doing the same thing for the last few months.
It's amazing. So I'd love to ask, what has the Coach Prime effect been on advancement at CU?
Yeah, we have seen a lot of really cool things happening at the university, and definitely within advancement too. I'll share a little bit on the university context, because I think it's good to understand that advancement is serving alumni, and while we have certain channels we manage, our alums and our donors are also really following the channels that the university is managing. So just in terms of social growth, I touch base with my colleague Noelle Siebert. She's Dr. Noelle Siebert. She's fantastic. Follow her if you don't. Our net audience growth across all of our social channels this in the past year it's 107% up.
Wow.
So we have 107. I might have the wrong number there, but I think it's 107,000 net new followers. So maybe my percent's wrong, but that many new followers across our 4 main platforms. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Our impressions are up. We had 60.4 million more impressions. That was our net growth.
60 million?
60 million, 60.4 million impressions across. That's more. So it was like 89% growth.
Wow.
That's over a year. Engagements are 3.5 million more engagements. It's up 80%. And video views, we had 167% growth.
Wow.
So it's huge. It's really huge. It's like people are really, really watching. They're engaging. They're following. So that's been really exciting to see. And, our social channels for alumni are growing too. We've had great growth there. But I think, one of the big things we see is you're an alum, you were on campus a few days ago, and that's part of the prime effect. Like that is part of advancement's work.
It's like engagement.
Engagement is so key. So we talk about having development officers and engagement officers. So who are the people who are really nurturing the opportunities, the relationships, the ways to stay connected to this Forever Buffs community? We had homecoming two weekends ago, and our numbers were up 300% over last year of unique registrants.
Wow.
So campus was just so crazy busy. I mean, every event grew. So we have an event every year called Buffs on Tap, and we literally had to expand the footprint like 2 to 3 times what it had been in previous years because we knew we were going to have all of that traffic.
Gotcha. Can you tell me a little bit more about what it means to register for homecoming?
Yeah, we do a fairly couple month long campaign. Like we launch homecoming, like homecoming's coming, so start
Right.
registering. So people they register like, hey, I'm coming. We're
Hmm.
really thoughtful about which markets we go into when. So we know, okay, if you're out of state and you're going to plan travel, we let those folks know sooner.
Right.
So getting registrations helps us understand, okay, how many people do we think will come?
Gotcha.
So, even we talk about the fact that maybe not everyone shows up, but the intention to say, I'm going to
Hmm.
this event, that's really powerful. That means they want to be there. And I think our numbers, it's palpable on campus. We
Right.
had easily 2 to 3 times more people than the prior years.
Yep.
And
That's-
even if you look at pre-pandemic, our numbers are way, way up even from pre-pandemic. So like all universities, I think we had a dip 2020. Most people didn't have homecoming or
Mhm.
maybe very small ones. 2021 still a bit of a recovery year. Last year we were saying, oh, cool. 2022 we were bigger than 2019, and 2023 just like knocked the socks off of all of that.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
also curious to see the difference in numbers. Like, I wonder if more alums out of state are like coming back to
Oh,
campus, or
yeah,
like,
we have stories. I mean, it's alums coming from out of state. It
right,
is people who don't even have a Buff affiliation are
right,
like so empowered and
hmm,
enthused and uplifted by the Prime effect, by the team, by I think
right,
what the team's doing and the messaging, that they're coming. They haven't previously been, they
yeah,
don't have that alumni connection, but they are part of the
the
Forever Buffs
movement,
movement, the excitement, that yeah, Prime effect for sure.
which makes me think about our keynote last night about like
Yes.
creating movement and a group
Yeah.
associated to an identity. And I feel like that's what he's done, is he's created an identity and
Yeah.
this movement with a group of people.
I mean, one of the things I'm thinking about taking back to my team and
Uh-huh.
really thinking about, okay, I haven't gotten the book yet. I'm going to, but Marcus Collins' book, For the Culture.
Yep.
And I think the Prime effect on campus right now, we see that they're like, what is the identity? What is like, I want to get curious with our team. What is it that is connecting people?
Hmm.
I think some of this circumstantial in a positive way. Coach Prime is bringing in a lot of people new, and so they might not have the long history. But I'm really curious to see what are the core cultural elements of a Forever Buff? What ties people together?
Right.
And then really start to think about how can we use that to inform our marketing?
Wow. Yeah, because that's
Like,
sort of being redefined right now too. Out of
absolutely.
just pure, like you might need to. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just take the McDonald's exhibit from last night or
Yeah,
the
that was
example,
fantastic.
like, okay, what's your happy meal? And
Right.
I was thinking last night, okay, what's your perfect Forever Buff day? Or what is it? What's that prompt that people really
Hmm.
lean into that could be used for admissions marketing, could be used for alumni engagement? I think there's a lot of possibilities. So
Yeah.
it's
I mean, for
exciting.
me, it'd be to walk by Farron Field, or
Yeah.
what's the Norland
Norland
Library?
Quad,
Norland
Norland
Quad.
Library,
Yep.
Norland Quad. Yeah.
Those are like my two iconic zones of campus, which are
And
beautiful.
where would you eat? Like you would walk by Norland Quad. So we're gonna start it right now. So okay, Barron Field, Norland Quad, and
Yep.
give me like a food or culture moment from maybe off campus. That's like a must do in Boulder.
Probably go to the Hill for lunch, for
Mm-hmm.
sandwiches. I don't know. The restaurants have moved around a lot, but
Yeah.
like I think, yeah,
The Sink, I would expect the Sink
the
turned
Sink,
100 this year, so people are. I
right?
mean,
The
that's like
Sink,
a stronghold.
yeah.
Yeah,
So definitely would include that. And if I'm a summer buff, it would be going to Canyon and
yeah,
hanging out by the river. So
yeah. And if you're a winter buff, then probably hitting the slopes.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it really got my brain thinking last night.
Yeah,
About like how I can improve our marketing outreach and build these identities and associate certain parts. Like maybe I show the map, like, are you a buff, and show this you buff
yeah,
map, and then um, move on to the next school and like, and show all their branding colors and say, hey, are
yeah.
you a Cornhuskers? I don't know.
Right. But I think the fandom concept, like that
Right.
was, I think about fandom coming out of more like Comic-Con and sort of
Right.
fringe culture. But he was saying like what
Everything.
was fringe becomes like the norm, the dominant
Right.
culture. And so I think adopting that fandom, like how do we define our fandom? And I think even in advancement marketing, alumni marketing communications. We try to reach everyone, but
Right.
I know our division is redefining this right now. We're saying, listen, it doesn't have to be mass everyone engagement. Who are the people we really need to focus on? Because those are the fans. Those are the ones who are going to really have the impact of lifting the boat, like
Right.
all boats rise together. And that's what the example was. Like, okay, McDonald's could focus on the people who don't like them and the haters, or they could just choose to focus on the people who really love
Yep.
them and are passionate. And I think that is something we're actively doing. An advancement that's coming from our vice chancellor, Katie Kotlarczyk. And I connected some dots listening last night. I was like, oh, this is why we're focusing. This is why we have to focus on our fans.
Right. That's really cool. I was thinking of like the different subcultures that, like, majority subcultures that exist from CU grads, and like I just thought some ideas about like some core groups within CU, regardless of whether they're a football fan or not. Like, how you can build some engagement campaigns with alums with that. It's great. It's awesome. So the flip side of all of this is not every school can get a unicorn like Coach Prime. May not have the budget, right? And he's also like a 1 in a million.
True.
What have you learned from this experience that you can kind of take away? I know like you can't not everyone can get a Coach Prime, but what have you learned from this experience that applies to advancement that has been impactful or you'd like to put into place?
One of the things I think just at the highest level, thinking about being part of a team and part of a large team and all the different university teams who are looking at this opportunity, it's like, how will we seize the moment and the opportunity? How will we act nimbly? It's like, act nimble, try things, move quickly. You're going to have to be willing to be responsive to new opportunities that might only exist this 1 year, or maybe they'll exist for a couple of years. But as much as I would love to say that, Deion Sanders would be at CU for 5 or 10 years, like realistically, it will probably be a handful of years. And we'll have a new future. So it's like, how do we tap into that? So I think the creativity, being willing to try new things. So we had an event and we had a tailgate. We do a spring game, and the spring game sold out, which the spring game is basically a scrimmage against ourselves, and it never sells out, and it sold out, and it snowed. And we took our creative team over to an event. It was a social gathering tailgate before the game. And we went with signs, and we had a videographer and a photographer. And it was like, okay, we got to get there. The excitement is really palpable. And so we had signs that were like, welcome Coach Prime or go Buffs. So we could capture that excitement and kind of feed into the community. That's not something we've ever done. So we had to see the opportunity, and just take action. And now we've got those great assets. They were used at homecoming. It was fun.
That's amazing.
But yeah, you were asking me about not everyone has a Coach Prime, right?
No,
so I'm telling you, like, oh, we've had so much fun. I talked about this with some colleagues, and and I've been thinking a lot about it since we talked. And I think one of the key things is don't compare, like, don't be dissuaded or discouraged that you don't have Coach Prime. I mean, he's an influencer, and there are these subcultures and tribes and campus affiliations. It's like, find out who are those really influential people within the network. If you're doing student-facing marketing or perspective, find out who the student is that has 4,000 followers, because people are listening to them. Or find the alum. Like, we definitely have some really vocal alums who are super proud, and they're always posting about Forever Buffs. It's like, how do you tap into those? And then one that we learned this year was how we leverage alumni awards. Every university has amazing alums and alum stories. And so this year we partnered with Strategic Relations, our partners in our main Marquette office. And we just did extra coverage of the event. We worked with, so some of our recipients have pretty high profile positions. One is a news anchor, one is a president of another university. So we were working with their PR teams to really amplify the coverage, amplify the story. So I think, how are you finding those people, finding the advocate, the ambassador, and how are you strategically planning marketing and communication solutions that amplify their existing power?
That's great.
Yeah.
One key thing I'm hearing is collaboration.
Yes,
Right?
yes, it is.
Great.
Yeah, you can't do it all on your own.
That's awesome. And I know I actually spoke with Kate Young from Purdue, who is the host of This Is Purdue podcast. A few
So
weeks
cool.
ago,
Yeah.
they launched an official university podcast. Other schools and units within the Purdue system have their own podcast, right?
Yeah.
But this is like the official podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one thing they do really well is they have a really good connection with their advancement or alumni relations team, and then also their faculty on campus as well.
Yeah.
And I think they've hit like 3 million views
Wow.
on their YouTube channel just this year. And really, they're just highlighting stories on campus
Yeah.
with faculty and also with alums that have graduated from Purdue. So
Yeah, I think this theme about leveraging the people who are
Right.
influential. So University of Wisconsin Business School was presenting, and they had a conversation with the business school CMO and CDO, so Chief Marketing Officer, Chief Diversity Officer, and they had a really, really successful brand campaign, and they tapped in to alums, and it was the same. Like, how are you intentionally working with those folks who have their own followings to then amplify? So, partnership branding, it's great, and it works.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just thinking of, it's kind of like from an e-commerce perspective, right? Like when I buy anything off Amazon, like,
Yeah.
the first place I go is down to the bottom and I read the reviews.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like hearing in a different way, hearing about the experience from someone who's consumed either the brand or their education.
Right. So instead of the institution always talking about, like, you don't want to talk about yourself. People want to hear like the real experience. So that's why I think hearing from students, hearing from alums, and not that it's authentic, that we would never want someone to overstep or over attribute their success or their affinity disingenuously to the university, but there is some affiliation. I think many people feel pride for their alma maters and the opportunities that they've had and the success they've had. And so it's also finding those cases where the passion and the authenticity are really genuine.
And kind of along the same lines of this, are you connecting alums and their stories and sharing them with Jennifer and her team or in the outreach?
Yeah. So my team, part of the portfolio I oversee is the University Magazine.
Yes.
It's a Colorado alumni magazine. And it's essentially the university magazine. And so we do have the opportunity. We work, again, collaboratively. I have a council that helps advise on the magazine direction and strategy, and like how are we positioning certain stories. So we work all the way from like across a year vision, like what are we trying to cover, how are we aligning to the university brand, but also then getting into stories and using that network to help us find really key influential alums with great stories. Our college and school communicators, we have a whole way of working with them in specific pitch sessions, and then we in turn make sure that they have that info, and great stories will pop. They'll do well online.
That's great to hear you're already doing all these things. That's amazing. Just adds more value on top of the unicorn. That's great. So I know that you had an interview with Jen Sanders. And I read the interview. What was that experience like talking to him? Anything you learned from him?
Well, I'll share a little bit about the getting to the interview, because I think that's also valuable and goes back to this. How do you work as a team and how do you work when you have these opportunities? So we had to be really nimble, and it was a big ask. He has a massive team and he's very busy. And so we worked for a few months in advance, like made the request and had to be patient and like work with his schedule. He was extremely gracious. When it all came together, and it kind of came together like, maybe it's going to be this time, maybe it's going to be that time. And then in the end, they were like, hey, can you be here in 15 minutes? And I was like, I will be there. So, work ahead, be prepared. I had the questions ready. He'd vetted everything. And I get to his office, and I swear that whole floor feels like you're walking into like your family's house. It was palpable.
Wow.
Like there's so much kindness and care in the whole environment. And then, I got people kind of know this now from social media. There's no shoes in his office. And so, you get to the door, you take your shoes off, you go in. He was kind of having like a chill moment, I'm sure, between a million other things.
Yeah.
And he was just like, yeah, come on in. Like, make yourself comfortable. I came home to my family and I said, whoa. I was like, he is so grounded. I was like, he's so like, talking to him, you'll say people feel grounded, and I always say, like, people feel like they have their feet on the ground. That's the expression, like, oh, so and so like really has their feet on the ground. My experience with Coach Prime was that it felt like he had roots down way deep into the ground, like
Wow.
to the core of the earth. So as a leader myself, and as someone who has a team and is always looking for influential people, like, how are they doing it? I was really struck by his humility and his just how down to earth he is, and how mission driven he is, and how focused. Yeah. He's just, like I said, kind, approachable, and such a wonderful human being. It was a great moment. Like, I will never forget that moment in my career, that afternoon.
I can feel tingles right now.
Yeah. And I remember, like, when I feel nervous, I took a deep breath, and he just was so easy to talk to, actually.
Yeah.
And so I was getting ready to go, and I thought, oh, should I ask for a photo? Is that weird? And I thought, well, if I don't ask, I'll never get one. And I asked him, like, could I get a photo with you? And he was like, yeah, of course. And like puts his arm around me. I mean, he's
Amazing.
A special person.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you for a photo op after this too.
Awesome.
So
I'm no Coach Prime.
I can be in your shoes. That's great. Well, where can people find this interview, by the way?
Oh, yeah. Definitely go to colorado.edu/Coloradan. Probably if you Google like Coach Prime interview Boulder, that would probably come up if you prefer to do that.
Nice.
Yeah. And actually, I saw the other day that it even got picked up by Yahoo Sports.
Nice.
So it's been cool to see how something like that, like very unexpected, earned media.
Right.
But there have been a handful of folks who've referenced it. And I've been told, a lot of what was written about a lot of the stories, a lot of the coverage, even Rolling Stone's coverage of Coach Prime was very like observatory. Like, we interviewed, we followed, we watched, we're commenting on his life. And it was really important for me within that interview to ask the questions that I believe people wanted to know more about, but let him speak from his heart with his truth, and not try to editorialize about it.
Right. I think the first thing you said to me in our introduction call is like, I'm merely a vessel to tell stories. And you literally just said it right there.
Yeah.
That's
it. People have stories. It's an honor that requires a lot of trust for people to share their stories with our institutions. And so I take that really seriously, and I want to always make sure to uplift people's authentic experiences, and that when it goes to publish, whether that's online, whether that's in print, that they look at that and they read it and they're like, yes, that's me. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
We're just about at time. I'm wondering if, our listeners want to follow up to see, what you're up to, Maria.
Yeah.
Where can they go to? It can be personal. It can be University of Colorado.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. So I'd say if you want to catch up with me, that's the best place to find me. It's like, LinkedIn/Maria Kuntz. Not too many people have my name. I snagged that. So you can find me there. And, reach out if you want to talk, you want to, have a call or just chat. I'm really open to connecting with folks.
Well, thank you. It was amazing having you.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
It's been a fun conversation, selfishly.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm honored. Thanks for inviting me.
Great. Well, thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining.